Alright everyone, welcome back. It is now May 24th of 2023, and not only are we getting closer to June, which is by the way the month that Jon and Dave will be heavily promoting and marketing the Ahsoka Tano series ahead of its August release date, that's really going to set things in motion for the future of the Star Wars franchise. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without wasting too much of your time, let's get right into the subject. Now, what's really interesting about all of this is that we know that there's a lot of great things coming out of the current state of Star Wars. We have Jon and Dave working on a handful of Star Wars movies that's going to take a lot of key elements from Legends. We also have Tony Gilroy coming on board to handle many of the upcoming Star Wars TV shows with Jon and Dave, as well as new creators. However, when it all comes down to Kathleen Kennedy, we know that she's at a standstill with many of the projects that she actually has control over, like Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte, and Indy 5. And speaking about Indy 5, Kathleen Kennedy was able to talk more about all of that and was able to respond to the overall backlash and the fan reviews, or the critic reviews I should say, that came out of Cannes Film Festival, and that was really a big deal. So Kennedy said a couple of things that I think obviously is a defense mechanism against this movie to prevent it from getting a lot of further backlash, so let's dive right into all of this. Now, on top of this, with both Jon and Dave preparing to announce a host of new Star Wars TV shows and films later this year, recently Kathleen Kennedy was able to respond to the reviews of Indy 5 after its debut at Cannes Film Festival, where she stated the following to the community. That is absolutely nothing to go by. I think the best answer to those critics is that you're not going to please everybody, and people need to remember that we only showed this film to a limited amount of people. So of course you're going to get low ratings for that. I think it's irresponsible for fans and critics going out of their way to say that this film is underperforming, all because of a couple dozen reviews by critics online. We still have yet to have shown this movie to those in the States and elsewhere around the world, and I am certain that we will be getting a better reception by then. This is purely just a ratio issue, and we know we did a fantastic job with Mr. Mangold. Now let me just say one thing about what Kathleen Kennedy is saying here. So according to her, this is nothing more than just a ratio issue because very few people have seen this movie. And, for example, if some people dislike the movie, you're not going to get as many people that love it. Well, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but no matter what the ratio is, if it's always on either more of the negative or the positive, that's usually the average that you're aiming for. And going by Rotten Tomatoes, and I know some of you guys out there might be rolling your eyes about Rotten Tomatoes, but it always, at the very minimum, gives you a bit of an idea of where a movie is going, or how well or how much of a failure it's going to be. So, what's interesting about this is that Kathleen Kennedy is saying that even though it was only shown to a couple dozen, or that there's a couple dozen reviews online, she's saying that that is the main reason why the ratings are so low, is because it's not shown to the world, you're not reaching the majority, stuff like that. Now, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but if it was such a great movie, if it was such a great story, you would have a lot of great reviews, even from a small minority. Again, it always gives you an idea. If it was really that great of a film, you would have the positive outweighing the negative. That's just my personal opinion, and you know what? Actually, it's pretty much a fact, because you always have to take into equation that these are critics, alright? And these are critics that actually are very well impressed by the Indiana Jones franchise, and they were not all that impressed by this. And usually critics, guys, usually kind of give a more positive side, or a more positive note on specific projects. Now, moving forward from that, she goes on to elaborate further. The fans giving premature backlash are not only irresponsible to the creators, but also not even giving this film a chance. It's just absurd how many fans take a movie so seriously as if it impacts their daily lives. Everyone needs to remember that this is just pure entertainment and it doesn't need to be perfect. The backlash we are getting is not only unfair, but I think it's how they are afraid of a powerful woman being in the lead in this story that is going to teach an iconic hero like Indy some great lessons in this story that will further evolve his character that we are so very proud of. So again, she's pulling this powerful female-driven character card again, aka Phoebe Waller-Bridge. A lot of people call her Fleabag. It's just unfortunate that there is some kind of agenda being driven for this story, obviously. Kathleen Kennedy keeps being very repetitive by saying this time and time again that this movie is all about an iconic, heroic figure getting taught multiple lessons by a powerful female lead. And you know what? It kind of rings a bell about what happened in The Last Jedi there, with Rey kind of with the whole Luke situation. Now, moving on. She goes on to elaborate further. We think this is the best indie film yet. Really? And we couldn't be more excited to show these to those in the States, so fans of the franchise really should keep their opinions to themselves. That's all we ask for now to avoid confusion. Let me just say one thing. I highly doubt that this is the best Indy 5 out of the entire franchise. Let's just be real here. To me, guys, I don't know about you, but Raiders of the Lost Ark is and always will be the best Indiana Jones movie. That's just my personal opinion. Temple of Doom, I love it and all. It's just a different take on the franchise. I like how it serves as a story before Raiders, so that's what I like about that. And it has a different style to it. It's more, less serious, so to speak. It's more fun. But what's interesting about this is how Kathleen Kennedy fully stated this the third time now, that this story is about Indiana Jones getting lessons from a powerful female-driven character, and it's just really like deja vu all over again. We have seen this constantly in the Star Wars franchise. We have seen this constantly in other elements that Kathleen Kennedy has worked on, and it's just a thing that keeps on repeating itself. So again, like I say, if you want to create a good Indiana Jones movie, it should really just be based on pure, great character development and really just developing something that's going to cater to the fan base. And from what it sounds like, given that there were so many different endings for this movie that were actually cut or revised or, kind of edited, and a lot of which had to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, which, by the way, is the goddaughter of Indy, by the way, in case you guys did not know that. There's a lot of things going on with this film, and I think that June 30th, it's going to be a very big day. And post June 30th, as we go throughout the month of July, without a doubt, you are going to see the ratings beginning to drop. You're going to see a little spike on June 30th until, let's say, the 4th of July weekend, or, wherever it lands there. And then after that, I think you're going to see a big drop-off, a very big drop-off. That's usually what happens with a lot of these flops or bombs. So overall, guys, I would love to hear your take on Kathleen Kennedy's take on the Indiana Jones 5 backlash and the bad reviews or the negative critic reviews, whatever have you. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.